Game Sunday at noon. It's 78 degrees at 2 o'clock time and temp, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
And we will have a special guest by the name of Jeff Lageman joining us here momentarily. Who knows what Jeff is up to these days? We know,
hunting, fishing, and loving every day.
Is definitely part of it. So excited to get his takes on what's happened this offseason and Liam Cohen and James Gladstone, the draft class, Trevor Lawrence's development. There's so much to get into with Jeff, but looking forward to it. None of our horses won. After all that research and effort, by the way, none of our horses
won. The Puma.
Yeah, his didn't race.
Yours was scratched.
I don't know what happened to him. It looks like he was having trouble. Yeah. They couldn't get him under control. He flipped his guy. Isn't that the Puma?
I think it said he had...
Did you see that when they were trying to get him in the thing?
Yeah.
He had some sort of scratch that got infected, I read. So I think they were
That sounds painful.
Yeah.
I don't
he
want
was probably hurting.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Chief Wallaby came in 4th, and So Happy came in 9th.
9th, yes.
But first female trainer to ever win. And the videos of her and the celebrations, she could tell that, she believed, right?
Yeah.
She was just jumping up and down before anyone else really had any idea that her horse could come across.
What a long way to go, too.
All the way to the back. I know.
And outside,
place.
too.
Yeah.
It was just
Golden Tempo.
Yeah. What's funny is I almost picked Golden Tempo because I just thought I was like, we have our golden moment and we talk so much about Todd Golden and it was sunshine and whatever. So I almost went Golden Tempo, even to the point when we were looking and I was like, there was no female jockeys, but I saw a female trainer because on the list I was looking at, it had their jockeys and their trainers. And I was like, well, there's not a female jockey, but I could go female trainer. But it was such a long shot that I was trying to get a little higher on the shots. I should have just went with my gut. Should have.
23-1 and ends up winning.
Fantastic.
It was a great race. And that's as much horse racing as we'll talk until next Kentucky Derby.
Kentucky Derby. There you go. Unless that horse has a chance to win the Triple Crown, then we'll
that'd be fun. Yeah,
we'll get into it then. But 2 more races to go.
That is 100% correct. All right, we are efforting for Jeff Lageman, but still not quite yet. Okay, so we'll
why don't you come in here and grab my phone and you can communicate with him directly. You know what I'm saying?
We'll get it going.
Yep.
But it is.
Oh, you got him. Yeah, why don't you do that?
There we go. It's a Big Chief Tire Monday. They're the best in the business. I was there recently, got an oil change in under an hour at the Mandarin location. They do a fantastic job. So you can find them online. We keep Jacks rolling, or find them all around town, 6 locations.
Beautiful. Beautiful. What's going to be nice today with Log, so when I asked him last week if he'd come on, he said, hey, give me time to watch the film on these guys. So he's gone through all of them.
Love that.
He said, give me, because we wanted him last week. He's like, no, next week would even be better. I could have more time. So it'll be great getting his take on all that's Jaguar, state of the team, by Jeff Lageman.
I think some fans, like we said last week, they've come to the realization that Nate Boerkircher wasn't as bad of a pick as maybe they thought in the moment, because a lot of people weren't familiar with his game, or the fact that the Jaguars were going to take a tight end that high, and again, the reach versus the consensus board and things like that. But I also feel like, especially if Jeff is a proponent of his, I also feel like that group of fans, too, that listens every Tuesday to Jaguars Today and loves to ask Jeff questions right on the show, that group of people, if they hear Jeff say positive things, I think they'll also be swayed a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, he's ours now, so we got to make it work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't think it's a bad. The only thing you could say right now is that it was an early pick. I don't know if it's bad. I mean, what if the kid turns out to be a great player, even just a great blocker, where you're like, okay, wow, I see it. Like now you're freeing up, Strange a little bit, let him move even more, get him more involved in the pass game.
And you don't have to bring an offensive lineman on the field in certain things, like for the jumbo package.
Possibly not. We got to make sure he can block first, which I'm assuming he can. But, I think when you break it down and you look, the draft pundits are going to say what they say. But as far as internally, if they work for you, none of that stuff matters anyway.
Yeah, and I think we talk about that, the reach and consensus and all of that. But I think another part of that is just kind of expectations of what people thought it was going to be. And most people thought defensive line. And so when you don't get that, which a lot of people want that upgraded, that also is kind of a bummer. And I think that's where a lot of people's minds were at first. We're like, man, we really wanted some more pass rush. That's what we've been talking about for 3 months. And then you don't get that. And so you are trying to understand their reasoning for things and they explain their side of it, but you're still like, man, I really wanted to see a defensive lineman, whether that's an edge or a defensive tackle. And so that's part of it too. That initial, when you're upset initially, it comes to that. And then eventually we had this conversation on Friday. Eventually you're like, look, he's a Jaguar. You're going to cheer for him. You're going to root for him. And this could end up being something at the end where we're talking and we're like, man, okay, we see the vision now. And that's what you just got to wait and see it until they're playing it on the field.
Yeah. I mean, look, that goes for Emmanuel Pregnant too. You know, everyone's saying he's a steal. Well, fantastic. Let's see him move people out of the way. And I just look, mini camps this weekend. Just can't wait to see the size and the movement of them all, you know, because I guarantee you they upgraded that speed. No question.
Absolutely. All right. So we do have him on the line. Jeff Loggeman joins us now. Jeff, thank you so much. And where are you?
Let's see. Where am I? I can see water and waves. I'll tell you that.
Well, that sounds nice then.
That's a nice setting right there.
That's right. All right, Jeff, let's recap the offseason just a little bit. The Jaguars did re-sign Monteric Brown, Buster Brown, Dennis Gardeck, Quentin Morris, Keith Taylor, and DJ Dallas. Any of those surprise you or excite you, I should say?
Well, I think they all excite me just because I think they're good football players in their own kind of certain way. I mean, I don't know if they're, big time elite players or any of that nature, but if you look at the contributions that they made last year, I thought it was significant for this team to get 13 wins. And a lot of times the role may not be big, but the importance of that role is big. And so I like what they were all able to do. And I think all those players are players that could be considered either at their best or still ascending.
Jeff, we talked a lot as soon as the season ended and then now up to this point about obviously that when Etienne Achane leaving and trying to find that place, those 13 touchdowns and how you replace those. And there was some expectations of maybe another running back in the draft and what that was going to look like. Obviously looks like they're pretty comfortable with that room right now. How are you feeling about that side of things when it comes to running the ball in the run game?
Yeah, well, first of all, I love Etienne. I thought he was a great dude, great locker room guy. I thought he was excellent. And the one thing about Travis was that if he could play, he would play. And every week he never had any kind of an issue whether or not he was going to be ready to play or was he going to be on his game. I mean, he was always, for the most part, reliable, dependable, fairly durable for the most part. Great speed. The one thing he probably didn't have was the elusiveness. But I don't look at it as, hey, look, you got to find one guy or, find a way to replace those touchdowns because, look, the ball's going to go to other people and it may take, two guys to replace his production. But I like the young players that they have on the roster. I like what they did in free agency. You've got a back that's very familiar with Liam, and they obviously know him intimately just because of the history that is there. So I'm excited for that room, and I'm a big believer in that you just don't pay running backs that kind of money. Sorry. I mean, if you've got a young quarterback, which this organization has seen that in the past, you go back to Blake Bortles and you want to prop up your young quarterback with a high-picked running back or a high-paid running back, okay, maybe. But look, this organization is not that point. I think when you start paying running backs a lot of money, and again, no offense to ETN, it's just, kind of my viewpoint on the position. If you start paying the running back a lot of money, then I think you don't have a very good quarterback and you don't have a very good football team, in my opinion.
Logs, great to have you on the show, brother. Appreciate it.
T-Mac.
Yeah, man. You're the audience is lucky we don't call each other what we really call each other over on phone calls, but that's all good.
Starts with a B, ends with an H.
That's right. That's right. So, hey, O-line, we know there's some interesting things there. Maybe Cole Van Lana with the injury, whatnot. We see him draft a young kid in Pregnon. How many different positions you think will have new starters in it out of that five-man front? If any.
Yeah, and I think that's a great question. And I think also, the question is also, where are people going to play?
Mm-hmm.
Look, Cole Van Lanen's favorite side is the right side. I believe that you've got a right tackle that can move to left without even batting an eyebrow. So I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting. I think, look, if I had to put number on it. I mean, maybe one. I
Okay.
just think I
Okay.
think at the beginning of the year, I always believe that sometimes it takes a little bit of while to kind of earn the confidence of the coaching staff
Yep.
to where they feel comfortable making a commitment to a younger player, whether it's Pregnon or whoever. So I think it's going to take a lot to convince them that, hey, look, let's replace this guy that we've seen in the past and we've trusted. But the biggest thing to me, though, is that I want to see where everybody's playing at. I want to see where Anton Harrison is at. I want to see where Cole Van Lannon is at. Where are they going to play? Who are they going to play guard? Who are they going to play tackle? Because there's guys that have multiple, the old multiple abilities to play inside and outside. So, Pregnon, I think, though, is an absolute guard. I think in a perfect world, even though that he played like left guard at USC and then also at Oregon, I think his natural side is the right side just because he's one of those big, brawling, bruising type of guards. I don't think he's overly athletic. So the left side is typically reserved to the guards that can pull a little bit more athletic. But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting watch. But, look, the one thing that I'm excited about and I feel really good about, I think they have a really good offensive line coach. And there's a lot of football teams. I think that, and I think the Eagles are one of the teams that just jumped to mind right out of the top of my head, just because they have had the ability and the consistency year over year of just having a lot of really, really good performances up front. And with the offensive line, you've got to have a guy that kind of bonds that group. And Sean Surratt is an outstanding offensive line coach. So he excites me. And they added another really good kind of backup offensive line coach that he's got some familiarity. Liam does with him from his days at Tampa Bay. So I think that group is in real good hands, and it's going to be interesting to watch where the depth chart kind of goes.
Yeah. How about McCary real quick, Logs at right guard? Do you think he stays there? Will he be our starter? Do you think he gets a shot at another position on the line?
He's the guy that I kind of worry about just because the health factor.
The back,
where's he at? Last year there was multiple games where there was kind of a concern, would he be able to play? And then a couple times you could see that he played, but then he wasn't really himself. So I don't know. I think that's going to be the one I think that's very interesting to watch. I'm a huge fan of Wyatt Milan. You guys might remember some of my comments last year, and that I thought Wyatt Milan was one of the best 5 offensive linemen when they were in training camp because he just finished so well. He was pretty athletic. He was able to target very well. And the big question with him is he going to be able to compete for a guard spot, or is he going to end up being kind of that swing guy? Because the reality is that you've got a pretty good left guard in Ezra Cleveland, and that's kind of where I kind of envision Wyatt Milan being at his best, is at left guard. So it's going to be fun to watch. And the best part about all this conversation is, we're talking about competition, right?
Oh yeah,
and it's not a bunch of fluff. There's been so many years where the competition with this Jaguars football team has been kind of created competition. This is real. Real. We got to wait and see what happens, so that excites me. And when you get to that point, I think from a roster building standpoint, it means you're doing pretty damn good.
Absolutely. All right. The question everyone's asking, Nate Boerkircher, how does Jeff Lageman feel about him being taken at pick 56? We will do that on the other side. That's right. Jeff Lageman sticking around with us for a while today on a Big Chiefs Tire Monday on Helmets and Heels, 1010 XL, 92.5 FM.
Jaguars and Gators. Gators and Jaguars. Jacksonville's home sweet home of the Jaguars and Gators.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
I just got another NBA offer from Hard Rock Bet.
A Hard Rock Bet promo at the Hard Rock Bet Party? That is so meta.
That's not meta. That's Meta World Peace. Meta. Tell them about Hard Rock Bet.
Hard Rock Bet has it all. Live odds for every NBA game, every player prop, same game parlays, you name it. It's the only place I play these days.
Okay, now that is meta.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
It's a Helmets and Heels Big Chief Tire Monday.
The weather is heating up, and it's time to drop a line in the water. Gear up today at Green Acres Sporting Goods, Jacksonville's fishing headquarters. From Shimano and Penn reels to Zoom baits and much more for saltwater and freshwater fishing. They've got everything you need to land the big one. And when your gear needs work, trust their expert rod and reel repair to keep you casting like new. Stop by Green Acres today or shop online at greenacresporting.com.
Good people drink good beer, and great people drink Mocama, a refined craft brewery out of Fernandina Beach, Florida. Mocama Beer Company brings sophisticated flagship beers, including Cosmico IPA and Dune Garden Lager, to the greater Jacksonville area. Whether you're hitting the water with friends or enjoying a backyard barbecue, Mocama has the perfect pair for your summer activities. Look for us wherever great beers are sold and find your Mocama.
Hey, Tommy Mack here. When it comes to glass, you don't want average, you want flawless. Duval Glass and Mirror has transformed homes and businesses across Jacksonville for over 35 years. Frameless showers that wow. Mirrors cut exactly to your style. Fogged or broken glass replaced. Decorative tabletops, windows replaced or repaired to stand up to our Florida storms. All backed by a 100% guarantee. Visit DuvalGlass.com for your free quote today. Only one name around here for glass and mirror, and it's Duval.
Got a dent or a scratch that needs fixing? San Jose Collision in Mandarin offers expert auto body repair and works with all insurance. Family owned and locally trusted. San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
When you want to know what's happening in Gainesville, roll with the Gator Report. I'm Joe C. Listen for updates on Florida Gator athletics several times a week on 1010XL. Built by Cash Building Material. Windows and doors done right. Go, Gator! Want your son or daughter to enjoy sports year-round? Then log on to i9sports.com with summer and fall registration open right now, including girls volleyball at UNF and Bishop Snyder this summer, plus plenty of other sports on the First Coast. i9sports.com, enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances. That's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Tom McManus, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you as we are also chatting with Jeff Lageman, former Jaguars defensive standout, along with Tom McManus. And we're going to break down everything that is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
He used to be really scary, Logs. Like when
I
he
think
first,
he's still a little
when I
scary.
first met him, long hair, he had a leather coat, his face was a little fatter, big dude. You're like, whoa, who's this guy?
Were y'all next to each other in the locker room, by the way?
No.
Well, wait a minute now. I will say that to Taylor and Lauren, Tom, you're probably still scary.
Now we
No,
know you
I'm
too
not.
well.
I hang out with ladies all the time. I can't be scary.
That's right. But yeah, I was curious if y'all were near each other because number 55, number 56.
No, we were always by position,
Okay.
from what I remember.
Yeah, from what I
Wasn't by
remember.
numerical. No, because I was with Boyer and Hardy, so I think we're all by position for the most part.
All right, makes
Oh, yeah.
sense.
Well, I think the early team photos were actually by number, so I think
the
I was
team
right next
photo.
to Tommy. I got to
Yeah.
go back to the team photo. Yeah.
No, we are. Yeah.
It just showed how short Tom really was. With me standing next to him.
Yeah. And my neck was just a little thicker back then, Lodge. That's all.
Well, of course, you were like pushing your chin back into your neck to make it look all thick too.
You got whatever you got to work with. Whatever you got to work.
That was his scare tactic.
Yeah. Exactly.
I love it. All right, Nate Boerkircher. I want to get your thoughts, Jeff, on him. Of course, he was picked at number 56 by James Gladstone and company. When it happened and you were on the draft show live, what was your initial reaction? And then what have you thought since you went back and watched the film?
Well, I didn't really have a reaction at first just because, I think when in years past, I would always watch, I'd say like the best, 50, 60 prospects, preparing for the radio show that we would do, with Frank and that number would kind of satisfy the possibilities of being picked in the first round. And this year, with the draft only being, day 2 for the Jaguars, as far as broadcast wise, I was like, I said, do I watch 150 prospects? Because that's really what you got to watch. If you're talking about second and third round, and then maybe more, just because the wide range of players that can possibly pick. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to wait until after the draft and I'll really dive in and take a look at it. So, when the pick was initially made, I was like, all right, well, he doesn't have a lot of big numbers because that was the only thing that I was looking at.
Mhm.
Okay, look, he's got 13 games, 6 starts, and that's kind of a strange number that you've only got 6 starts. If you're college drafted in a second round type of guy and you only have 19 catches, then transferred from Nebraska or what's the name, Texas A&M. So I was like, why did he do that? So I think that's always one of those things initially. But so I always kind of held judgment, or did hold judgment on him, until I watched the film. And then when I watched the film, I was like, you know what? I don't know why he went to Texas A&M, because he was kind of in a rotational mode. And the quarterback didn't like him for some reason. And you watch the plays, and first of all, outstanding blocker. Finishes guys, got a little bit of nasty to him, does a great job of keeping balance, staying on the blocks. All those things that you want to have in a true Y. And a true Y is what I believe the Jaguars need, just to allow Brenton Strange to kind of become that H or that F or whatever you want to call him, to do more things that I think accentuate his talent base. But Boerkircher, when you watch the film, on top of being a good blocker, you'd see him run routes, and he runs great routes, and he would be wide open. And I used to sit there, and I was sitting there thinking, well, on the film, does the quarterback not like this guy? Is he like take his girlfriend in college when he transferred or something? Because he wouldn't throw him the ball, and he'd be wide open. But in every ball that he got and every opportunity that he got, he looked really good, looked capable, was fairly athletic after the catch. So, look, I think he's pretty good, and a lot of people, after the fact, you kind of go and you read, and people are like, oh, well, the consensus didn't have him being selected that high. Well, here's the reality. Consensus is how accurate, right? Let's be honest. Okay. The first round picks, what do you guys think the percentage of first round picks that actually hit in history, like going back many years? What do you think?
I'll say 30%.
Yeah, it's somewhere in that 30% range, right? 35, maybe 40%, maybe. Okay. And then once you get into round 2 and then you get into round 3, it drops. It's just, and it drops significantly. And it's not like, off the cliff, but it drops significantly, especially the farther down that you go. And so my take on that is that, look, if consensus is X, right? Okay. Then consensus has only been like 30% accurate in the draft's history anyway. So wait a minute. So maybe the Jaguars are on to something. and they're going to break the mold of only being accurate 30% of the time or even less as you move down the draft. And so I'm not one to react and sit there and go, well, the whole mainstream guys, they didn't have him being picked that high and they could have traded back and maybe got him in the next round. You know what? Maybe not, because there was a run on tight ends, so and a lot of people, if you probably flip-flop Boerkircher and Pregnon, if you flip-flop them in draft position, people would have said, oh, yeah, the Jaguars did a great job. Well, maybe they couldn't have gotten those two guys if they flip-flopped them, So I always say that let's just kind of wait and see. The percentages aren't that favorable, I guess, to say that anybody's going to become a great player, So let's wait after 3 years and then determine that, because you go back and you look at, for example, like the 2013 draft class, which was Dave Caldwell's first draft class. And I'm not picking on Dave by any means. It's just one that I think stood out because it had the A+ grades all across the board from all the different draft gurus, And you had Luke Jokel and Cyprian and Dwayne Gratz and the offensive weapon from Michigan. What was his name?
Robinson.
Thank you. You had all those guys, right? And after after the draft, everybody was giving the Jaguars A+ and lauding them for having such a great draft. And after the first year, we were like, hey, look, they got a lot of productivity out of those guys. Well, they played because the roster stunk, right? And then a couple years later, a lot of those guys weren't even in the league, So an A+, reaction draft grade right after that draft class of 2013 to if you gave it a draft grade right now, you'd probably give that draft class a D or an F. So I think the whole point of that is that look, let's wait and see, because maybe the Jaguars are onto something, and maybe James Gladstone and Tony Baselli and Liam Cohn have figured something out.
Yeah, Logs, I think a lot of the conversation this offseason, which leads me to believe why some people maybe were a little initially upset with this pick and have settled a little bit, was the conversation so much this offseason here with fans. If you see what they say on Twitter and social media and everything when it comes to the defensive tackle, that interior pass rush, and wanting to add to that and needing a guy there, because you kind of saw that when it comes to the run, stopping the run really good, but nobody was really getting pressure last year. But they ended up getting Albert Regis, obviously also out of Texas A&M. What did you see out of him when you were watching some of his stuff?
Yeah, I to be honest with you, when they picked him, I was like, all right, defensive tackle, they need that position. He's got to be a pass rusher, right? And then I go and watch the film on him, and he's really more of a 2-eye and a 1, and really not a pass rusher. Doesn't have great length, but it's got a great motor and does a really good job with leveraging his blocks. So I like the pick. Do I like the pass rush ability of Regis? I'm not a huge fan of it, So, but look, if he can fill a role for this football team and he can fly around and make plays and do a great job against blocks and maintain leverage, that's a lot. You can always find some edge guys to kick down in to play inside, and I think that's what we're going to see. I mean, if you look at this Jaguars roster right now, they've got a lot of edge guys that have that ability to kick down inside, and Trayvon's really at the top of that list. But Regis plays with great energy. Like the way he really kind of lifted the energy up on the field of his entire defensive unit, and he definitely can fly to the ball, and he definitely does a really good job of maintaining the edges of his blocks. But the pass rush, want to see more out of him. But a lot of guys don't develop that in college. Some of them develop it later on, and hopefully he does.
Jeff Loggeman here with us on Helmets and Heels. Logs, for the third pass rusher on the team, do we have him currently, or do you think we'll add one out of free agency when it's all said and done?
You know what, Tom? I kind of like what we got,
Okay.
And here's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
You go back and you look at the undrafted guys that we got last year, and I thought Strigo and BJ Green, I thought were really good last year. And if you look at the percentage or the win rate that BJ Green had, I don't know if he didn't have the highest win rate of anybody on the team. So, and remember some of the penalties that he had that took away some of the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But his win rate was outstanding, and he's got twitch. and I really like the twitch. And then I'll turn around this year and you add Wesley Williams from Duke, who's got some violence to him, and Durfee, the edge defensive end guy from Washington. I think those guys are all going to help, and I think you can have some of those guys are going to give the ability to maybe kick down inside. So I kind of like where they're at. The one thing I think that James Gladstone had talked about, and I thought he was right on. And he said, sometimes you don't need to go out and address things in free agency, because what it does is it restricts the path for development. And what he means by that is that, look, you have some guys that you believe in on your roster, and if all of a sudden you go out and you sign a guy in free agency like they did last year, and then all of a sudden it's taking snaps away from a guy by the end of the year is going to be more productive for you than the veteran guy that you're going to get. Because the reality is at this point of the year, you're not going to get a whole lot as edge rushers go. I mean, that's like when you talk about premium positions, I mean, that's right there at the top. And if you're getting a guy or adding a guy right now, how good is he going to be?
And Jeff, could you say that the pass rush will be improved because the secondary will be improved with Travis Hunter now a starting corner opposite Buster Brown?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's going to be big. And I'm also looking to see that secondary develop as a whole. It's got some young guys that, we're excited about and want to see them play. So I think absolutely. I mean, rushing cover go hand in hand. And here's the other thing. Look, it's year 2, for your defensive coordinator, and year 2 for any coach. And after he literally had the first year ever under his belt of coaching a defense by himself, all of a sudden now you're going to get, I think, even further development out of your defensive coordinator, Campanelli. So I'm excited to see what he can do in year 2, because as you asked him and he gave you an honest answer, he'd probably tell you that there were moments last year that he was just trying to figure it out. And I think that, once you get year 1 under your belt, now you refine who you are as a coach. You also have a little bit more comfort level in calling plays and putting defenses in the best possible position. So I think not only will we see players develop that are young, but I also think that we'll see Campanelli develop in year 2 as a defensive coordinator. And I hope we get to watch him develop for many more years to come, because you don't want to see him end up, I want to see him get a head job because I think he's a great guy, and you want to see him get rewarded. But at the same token, I'm kind of selfish. I want to keep him here with our Jaguar football team.
Yeah, that is a good point. We almost lost Grant Udinski and Anthony Campanile this offseason, but we're able to retain both of them. All right, tons more to get to. We have to still get to the head coach, the quarterback. Also, Trayvon Walker got an extension. A lot to do with Jeff Logwin, so don't go anywhere. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday. You can find them online, WeKeepJacksRollin.com. 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein and Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
Helmets and Heels.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday. The local Jacksonville shop for fair prices and service you can trust.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
What if the next roof you put on your home was the last one? Not another replacement in 15 or 20 years, the last roof. Metlock Roofing is Florida's only manufacturer and installer of this exclusive roofing system. Engineered for strength, built for Florida weather, backed by a lifetime warranty. Imagine never needing another roof. Call 938-9933 or visit metlokroofing.com. Get your last roof today with Metlock. License number CCC 1335581.
This is Victor Patel, CEO of North Florida Medical Center. Have you been in an auto accident? Are you feeling pain or stiffness? Our board-certified team has over 15 years' experience helping patients recover through chiropractic care, physical therapy, pain management, primary care, and neurology. Even minor injuries can cause long-term problems if left untreated. Schedule your free consultation today at nfmcjax.com. North Florida Medical Center, bringing the care back to healthcare.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks. Big Chief Tire makes getting new tires easier than ever with the Big Chief credit card. There's no annual fee, low monthly payments, and great promotional financing. Plus, you get free flat repairs and rotations, even $50 off your first purchase when you sign up. I love how simple they make everything at Big Chief Tire. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com to apply for the credit card and let Big Chief help you get back on the road with confidence.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call now for your free evaluation and see if multi-unit hair grafting or PRP can restore your hair. Call 904-777-IHRS.
My bald spots are gone. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS is the only clinic in the Southeast to offer all proven solutions to restore your hair and is now offering multi-unit hair grafting. One procedure, more hair.
You've got nothing to lose but more hair. I feel younger, I look younger, and who doesn't want to feel better about themselves?
This year, grow your hair back. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-4477.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's team time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus. RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Jeff Logman also hanging out with us today for a while. We so appreciate it. Jeff, do you like Bon Jovi the band? Bon Jovi the band.
Bon Jovi the band? What do you mean? I didn't know there was a Bon Jovi the band.
Well, you're right. Bon Jovi the singer.
Yeah, hell yeah, I love Bon Jovi, man.
Well, we've got a pair of tickets to go see Don Jovi, the ultimate tribute to Bon Jovi, which is a fantastic tribute. One of the most popular bands in history. That show is next Friday, May 15th at the Thrasher Horn Center in Orange Park.
Oh, yeah.
Be caller number 2 at 641-1010. Caller number 2, 641-1010. Show starts at 7:30, and you are going to see Don Jovi.
I think he was a little confused.
Yeah, probably.
The band? What do you mean?
Yeah, I was thinking.
That's a great venue, by the way.
Oh,
yeah, it is.
Phenomenal. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I saw, Aaron Lewis there.
Oh, yeah.
And great show. And he was about falling down drunk at the end of the show. It was hilarious.
I've seen a few artists do that.
Yeah.
And it's always hilarious for sure. All right, I want to talk about Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence and Trayvon Walker, but let's start with Liam Cohen. I'd asked Taylor and Tom earlier in the season, like, what's more impressive about Liam Cohen, his play calling or his leadership? So I'll let you tackle that one, Jeff.
I just think I think in leadership, I mean, look, I think it's a very rare trait to find somebody that can lead men with absolute confidence, and the players love them. You guys, you ever watched the Jaguars The Hunt series, which you probably do? I mean, we're all big fans of it. It's an amazing production that the Jaguars do in-house, and it allows the fans of the Jaguars and the NFL to kind of get a behind-the-scenes look at how things go and what happens, and you get to take kind of a sneak peek into team meetings and conversations that they have behind closed doors. And the more I see, and the more that I see personally, on The Hunt, but then also what I see just in person, He just continues to impress me, and I think that's a very rare trait. There's a lot of great coaches that can call plays and that can put offenses and defenses in the right scheme and can get up on a grease board and draw great plays and put players in great positions. But man, it's a rare thing to have great leadership ability and the ability to communicate and relate, because you got to have all of that to be able to sit in the front of the room and to communicate with guys that are from so many different backgrounds. And I think that's an absolute gift that Liam Cohen has. And you guys see it. I mean, you see when he talks to the media and he speaks from the heart. There's no fake. And I think that that's incredibly impressive. And for many years, this football team, after having Tom Coughlin, you sit there, you're like, all right, we gotta find that next Tom Coughlin, because you knew that Tom was special a little bit in a different way. And I think that there's different ways to be successful. But when you just see Liam and you see how he works and you see how he communicates and you see how he leads and how he literally gives his football team talking points and direction on a week to week basis, it's just impressive. And even watching the first episode of The Hunt, how he talked to his team at the end of the year about giving them something to think about to lead into the next year. And it's kind of rare to see that, where somebody's so forward thinking, because the whole idea of leadership is to get everybody to kind of march in that same direction with just obviously great energy and excitement. And he's got that special ability that is fun to watch.
Logs, when you talk about what Trevor Lawrence and the relationship with him and Liam Cohen came in here pretty much right away and said there's some things mechanically and that we need to fix, footwork, all of that. So 2 parts to this. Number one, why do you think it took into Trevor's 5th year for somebody to come in and say, hey, we need to switch some of these things? Because we obviously saw it translate into some of Trevor's, if not his best football we've seen at this level. And then what do you think leading now into this next season, what that looks like for them and as that continues to develop?
Well, I think it's, and if you guys will remember back last year, Andrew Wingard he had a comment, and I don't remember exactly when he said it at one point in the season, but he came out and he said Trevor's finally getting coached hard, something to that effect. And I think back to last year, that game to where Trevor had a terrible throw, and Liam's on the sideline, patting his chest, hit him in the chest, and it was one of those moments that Trevor, kind of waved him off. But I thought that moment, I think, spoke so many different things about the relationship between coach and quarterback. And that, look, you've got to be able to coach, and you've got to be able to also to be able to listen, to have a great relationship between the coach and the quarterback. And I think it took time. I don't know if it necessarily was working at the beginning. I think that there was some moments there that we were like, oh, is this going to work? And both of them kept kind of working, and both of them kept, putting their nose to the grindstone, so to speak, and they stayed confident in each other. And then all of a sudden you had the statement by the coach about, man, just wing it, because it was very clear that Trevor was just thinking way too much. And then all of a sudden, that's when you saw Trevor just blossom. And then when you have success, then you can also have success with the relationship. And I think that that's where those two really invested into each other, because sometimes you got to go through the tough times. And then when you're going through those tough times, you don't necessarily believe in the other guy completely. You have your doubts. And I think that there might have been a little bit of that. I don't know if there was or not, but I think there might have been. But then when you have the success and you're like, all right, here we go, and so the player sits there and goes, I believe in the coach. The tools that he gave me, they're right and they're going to work. And so now you have a belief in what the coach is telling you. And then you also have a belief in the coach and the player saying, hey, look, he's doing it. Wow, he's doing it. That's awesome. So I think it was this very special moment last year when Trevor had that game, and I believe it was the Arizona game because that's the game that was leading up to where the coach said just wing it,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden in the first half you're just going, what the hell is Trevor doing? The interceptions and then all of a sudden the second half happened, and you're like, holy cow, man! It was like one of those moments where Bill Murray and Caddyshack, and it's you guys putting, and he's going no 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 no. Trevor's just throwing the ball loose, and it's just bam, it's right on the spot. It was a fun watch last year, and it was a fun watch to see that growth and that relationship develop.
Hey, Logs, recently Liam said there was a stink last year when he was talking to Ryan O'Halloran. Ryan mentioned the run game. He agreed to it. He even said that wins is a great deodorant. So the stink, in your opinion, is it not physical enough up front? Backs not hitting the hole at the right time, not running hard enough? What do you think the stink actually is?
Well, I think the stink is that, they didn't end up where they wanted to be. They started out the year running the ball really well. And then all of a sudden, the running game it really fell off. And then by the end of the year, it ended up, bottom right around 20th or something like that. And then if you look at the yards per carry, even worse.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Like bottom 5 in the league, somewhere in that range, And I think that's what the stink that Liam is referring to, and the ability look. If you're a good offense and you run the ball well, you need a yard. You should be able to run it and gain a yard. And there were multiple times towards the second half of the season, latter half of the season, to where Liam would try to run it on short yardage and didn't get it, and then he'd go for it and then didn't get it, and then all of a sudden you turn the ball over on downs. But I think that's what he's referring to, that the really good teams, the really tough physical teams, when they want to get a yard, they're going to line up and they're going to show you the formation. There's no secret. Here's what we're going to run. Boys, try to stop it. And the good ones, run it right down the throat. And so I think that's what he wants his offense to grow to be in running the football.
Yeah, you have to be able to run it when everybody knows that you're going to. More with Jeff Logman on the other side, and Tom will give you his take for today. It's Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday, 1010 XL, 92.5 FM.
Engines roar and tempers flare.
He'll make the move. They're crashing behind him. Elliott's in the wall.
This Sunday at Watkins Glen.
They're wrecking everywhere.
Powered by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234. From the station with the most horsepower, 1010 XL.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday on Helmets and Heels.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Tom McManus here for Armstrong Fence Company, a locally owned and operated business on the First Coast for nearly 20 years. Known for reliability, quality craftsmanship, and professional service, Armstrong Fence handles it all, from big projects like stadiums and schools to your very own backyard. They build a wicked strong fence, and they do it right the first time. When you need a fence in Jacksonville, trust Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
Hey, Hicken here. I want to tell you guys about Lift Power. Lift Power, a Jacksonville-based business, been around for more than 50 years, family-owned and operated, and always on the lookout for good folks, experienced lift truck and knock and door technicians. The benefits out of this world: 401k, company vehicle, paid training, sign-on bonus. Offers so great. Come see why Lift Power has been voted one of the best places to work for the past several years as well. We want you to be a part of the family. Don't let this opportunity slip by. To learn more, all you got to do is go to liftpower.com
Check them out at livepower.com.
Here's a health and wellness tip from orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville.
This is Dr. Hiram Carrasquillo, orthopedic surgeon, fellowship training foot and ankle conditions from the orthopedic specialist of Jacksonville. Achilles tendon injuries are common in athletes, but most can be prevented. Warm up properly, stretch your calves, build strength gradually, and wear supportive shoes. Listen to your body. Don't push through pain. Protect your Achilles so you can stay in the game. For more tips, visit osjax.com.
Stay healthy with orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville.
What two vegetables are combined in making succotash?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
In order to make succotash, you'll need dry corn and dry beans. Suffering succotash was made famous by Sylvester the Cat.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours. And welcome back to another episode of Potty Talk with our current champion. So what's your secret to your perfect plumbing proficiency?
It's simple, really. Roland Reach Plumbing is always the right answer.
Roland Reach Plumbing, 260-7059.
Don't we all owe it to Mom? I know I do. Jeff Pryor with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring.
I know I owe it all to my mom.
And me too.
Floor your mom this Mother's Day and transform her home with exquisite new floors, or surprise her with a brand new glass or screen enclosure for the outdoor space she's always wanted.
I want to surprise my mom and me too. That's so sweet. Love you guys.
You guys are awesome. Visit our websites or one of our showrooms today to experience the lifetime difference and ask about our Mother's Day specials.
Lifetime Flooring.
Southwest Greens is the OG of artificial turf in North Florida. Stop mowing and start chipping or putting or just relaxing with a beautiful backyard, maintenance free. Log on to southwestgreensofjacksonville.com to see what they can do to your backyard.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
That's right. This is Bon Jovi.
The
band. The band Bon Jovi. Since it wasn't a football question, I felt like I had to specify. I should have just said, do you like Bon Jovi? By the way, a lot of Jaguars fans do not like Bon Jovi.
That's right.
Yeah, bad memories up there.
Correct. In the 2017 AFC Championship game. That's right. All right. I'll let Mr. Loggeman react to Mr. McManus's take.
Now, Tommy's Takes. Protected by Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com. Or dial #law. That's all.
All right, my take today on this beautiful Monday afternoon is a shout out to my youngest lioness, Harley McManus, who had a goal this weekend to go down to the regional competition in Orlando and get an award where she would be considered a platinum elite dancer. And guess what? She came away a platinum elite dancer. Her and her teammates were absolutely incredible. Nancy Dance Studios represented awesome. Listen, Saturday night, it was getting really competitive. I was getting all fired up. Me and Christina were in the front row. We're like, holy cow, because the competition was wicked good.
Okay.
You know, and listen, trust me, I've been watching dance now for like 20 plus years. You can tell good from not so good. And when your kid's not in the not so good, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to fall asleep. But when they're not in the good, you're like, wow, this is pretty darn good. But it was absolutely incredible. And you know what? I'm so proud of her because she really wanted it. It was really big. It was West Coast Dance Explosion, the company my Kelsey worked for. So it was really big to them. Kelsey choreographed the dance too. So all in the family. So I know Mama was proud and I'm proud as well. So way to go, Harley and Nancy Dance Studios. And that's my take today, brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
It's a good thing that you married well, because I can tell you she did not get her dance moves from you, Tina.
Actually, they have my feet, Logs. That's a problem.
No,
I have
no.
dancing feet.
No, you did not have any feet either, okay? You know, it's a good thing you married well, because I can tell you she got none of those skills from you.
I can agree. That's for sure.
Hey, anytime that you get to see someone who puts so much time and effort into something,
yeah.
and
They work
then
hard, man.
Yeah, and
they work hard.
Whether it's football, dance, it doesn't matter. Like,
absolutely,
you're so proud that they've achieved their dreams, and that's an awesome thing.
No doubt about that. Hey, Logs, how bad do you think we'll miss Devin Lloyd? What's your opinion on that?
Well, the big plays you're going to miss, right? I mean, last year, holy cow, he was really good in that category and seemed to be timely in a lot of moments. But, you know, to kind of go with the ETN thing, and that that was a great year for Devin Lloyd. But if you looked back in the years before that, there were times that it was a struggle with Devin on the field, and they were trying to figure out kind of how to cover up some inadequacies, and also to kind of get him on the page with everybody else. And there was some frustration there with Foye Lukin at times in the early days of getting Devin lined up. But credit to him, he had a great year. And I got to give a lot of credit to the coaching staff, because they did a great job of identifying what Devin did well, and they tried to keep him contained in that area. They didn't want him to venture too far out. So some of the things that he did well: great blitzer. He also super athletic. He just cut him loose. Did a great job with running games with the pass rush. Did a great job of also at times playing in a short kind of a zone, but if he had to be in man coverage or if he had to adjust on the fly, that wasn't his strong suit. And you had to keep things, Devin's one of those guys. Some guys, you can sit there and be book smart and they got it, but for some reason on game day, if it gets a little bit complicated, they have a hard time staying that fast, and playing fast. And that was kind of, I think, one of the things with Devin. But kudos to him. He got paid. Super. And here's the best part: he's a super guy, so you're happy for him. And the Jaguars are going to end up getting some compensatory pick stuff for him, because obviously the contract that him and ETN both got, that will return some compensatory picks to the Jaguars. And that's kind of the model that they're looking to build with, is having those type of things happen like the Baltimore Ravens have been doing for years, because they have been drafting very well.
All right, so a couple more segments to go with Jeff Lageman. I want to keep it on the defense, ask you about Trayvon Walker when we return. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday, 1010XL 92.5 FM.
I hide a big secret. People are smart. They can handle it.
Because you did not use the magic word.
What is the magic word?
1010XL, where sports magic happens.
Please.
Attention business owners and sales professionals. Still hearing, I need to think about it? Pat McManaman from Sandler Sales. We can help. There's a 2-day sales boot camp in Jacksonville, May 13th and 14th. We'll show you how to handle objections and close more deals without being pushy. Call us at 904-646-1900 for more details. 646-1900. Let's get your business and top-line revenue growing.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks. My whole family was impressed with the closets we had installed by Closets by Design, and I know every mom would love her own calm, organized space from Closets by Design. They design solutions for every lifestyle and budget. Call them this week to schedule your free in-home consultation and get 40% off plus another 15% off and free installation. Don't wait for mom to do it. Call now, 904-878-9393 or online, closetsbydesign.com. Closets by Design. Imagine her home totally organized.
For your chance to win tickets to see Beetlejuice the Musical, May 12th at the Performing Arts Center, text DEO to the 1010XL text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday, the local Jacksonville shop for fair prices and service you can trust.
Longer days, warmer nights, and a backyard that brings everyone together. Spring and summer in Florida means pool days, backyard barbecues, and night swims under the stars. Pick it here. For nearly 50 years, Surfside Pools have been creating the backdrops for life's best memories. From weekly service and repairs to remodels, commercial maintenance, and new pool construction, Surfside does it all. Ready to float happy? SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools. Summer starts here. License number CPC 044080.
Kubota keeps job sites running smoothly with the #1 selling compact excavator lineup in the world. Reliable, capable, and backed by strong dealer support. Stop by today and power up your crew. Right now, bring home select Kubota excavators with 0% financing available or save up to $7,000. Now through June 30th. See store or go to KubotaUSA.com/disclaimers for full disclaimer. Coastal Equipment equipment on New Kings Road and in McClenny.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about not being afraid of the crosses of life. Life can be difficult. Maybe today you're carrying a cross of worry or stress. Let me encourage you to remember that when Christ got on the big cross at Golgotha, he destroyed all the little crosses that we face in our life. He set us free from fear, worry, and anxiety. Our job is not to be carried by the cross, but to be carried by our faith.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Feel a vibration in your steering wheel at highway speeds? That's not something to ignore, and a standard tire balance might not fix it. At G&H Tires and Service, they offer Road Force Balancing, an advanced system that simulates how your tire actually performs on the road to detect hidden issues. It goes beyond traditional balancing to reduce vibration, improve handling, and extend the life of your tires. Newer vehicles, especially with low-profile tires, demand this level of precision. Drive smoother. G&H Tires and Service on Beach Boulevard, where your ride gets dialed in right.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances. That's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update brought to you by Southern Oak Insurance. The Orlando Magic announced that head coach Jamal Mosley has been dismissed by the team following their first-round exit, losing to the Pistons. Mosley was the coach for 5 years, bringing them to the playoffs in 3. The JU women's lacrosse team won their 10th ASUN championship, sending them to the NCAA tournament. It's 78 degrees at 3 o'clock time and temp, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Tom McManus, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Jeff Logman, kind enough to spend a lot of time with us this afternoon talking all things Jaguars and Bon Jovi the band. All right.
Looking at the waves.
That's right, as we overlook
Got
the
it
waves.
made today.
I love it. All right, Jeff, Trayvon Walker obviously was not drafted second overall, was drafted first overall by former general manager Trent Baalke. Aiden Hutchinson went second overall. Hutchinson has had certainly far more sacks to this point in time, but Trayvon Walker did have 2 seasons with back-to-back double-digit sacks, and then, of course, this past year he had some injuries, most notably that wrist injury. What do you think of Trayvon Walker heading into this year?
I think he's a big bully. That's the great, strength that he has, as a football player, and that he plays the game in a violent way, and he's really good against the run. I mean, like really good against the run. Hard to move. He's still developing as a pass rusher, and I was really excited for him last year because I thought that he had taken some really great steps in some of his pass rush moves. Well, then the injuries came, and then when the injuries came, it obviously slowed down the production across the board. But I give Trayvon a lot of credit. I mean, there's not many guys that would have been able to play through what he was able to play through, and he had a surgery and he returned very fast. And, when he had that surgery on his wrist or whatever, I mean, you could see his wrist. It was just, huge when you would see him walking around. And anybody that can still play with that, I give a lot of credit to him. But it took away one of the strengths of his game, which is playing with his hands and his strength, So it took away a strong aspect, which is the strength of his game, and that made it difficult for him. But, I'm excited to see what he can do this year. I'm excited that they locked him up because I think it's a very fair deal for him. It's a very fair deal for the team. And I think it's there's a lot of things that Trayvon brings besides just being the bully football player that he is. I think he brings a culture to him, and And when he starts to develop, I think even more as a leader, I think his impact will even be felt in a greater way in the locker room.
Logs, how would you like to see Coach Camp use Dennis Gardeck this season? Because we've had a lot of conversations about wanting to see him go after the quarterback a little bit more.
Well, I thought that they did a really good job last year. I mean, look, he's a Sam linebacker, so you're kind of limited on what you can do with him just because the percentages of snaps that he's going to get. So if you play him more, that means you've got to play him as an edge rusher. So the first question there is, okay, who comes off the field so that he can get more snaps? Do you take Trayvon out, or you just take Josh out, or do you kick Trayvon down to the inside? I mean, so I think there's a multitude of questions, but that's kind of like early on when we were talking about the resigning of some of these guys, and that you say you really like the roles that they fill. And I think Gardeck does a really good job in the role that he fills because the number of snaps that he gets as a linebacker and as a pass rusher, it's not that great, but his impact is felt. His contribution on special teams is very strong. But I like him. A couple of years ago, I think he had 7 sacks or 8 sacks or 9 sacks, something. He had a really good year. So I think he's capable of giving you a little bit more, but I think you just got to be careful about how many more reps or how many more snaps that you give him, because you got some others that I think are worthy of getting the snaps as well.
I still think one of the keys, Logs, is can Eric Armstead stay healthy and play at a high level. As just as well as I do, even better, with an inside presence. It just opens things up for your outside guys. I know the first year, he played in and whatnot. Last year, he was off to an okay start. He had the injury too. You know how hard it is to play with any kind of cast on your hand. But what do you expect out of him? And do you think he's going to have a big year for us?
Before I get to Armstead, let me just make one more comment about Gardeck, because
Sure.
I mean, when he said this last year, he said, I like to let my game speak in violence. When something of that nature. When he said that, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's like freaking an animal,
Yeah.
right? When he said you want to let the game speak with violence, I was like, all right, it can sign me up to play with him right there. I want to play with that guy. But Armstead, 2 years ago was a train wreck, wasn't it? I mean,
for sure.
You go back to that year. Is he an end? Is he a tackle? And then at the season, it was like, okay, he said, she said. The
Right.
coach, did they want him to play inside, or was it Eric? I mean, it was just like, all right, it was a total clown show. And this past year, I really appreciated what the organization did, and that when they came in, and that's part of leadership. And that when they came in with James and Tony and Liam, what's the first thing that they did on the player roster with Eric Armstead?
Yep.
They put him down. His position was DT.
Yep.
It was not DL. It wasn't defensive end / DT. It was DT. And I think that's what great leadership does. It defines the roles and gives people marching orders. And, to go back to Liam again, I thought a great job of leadership right there in that instance, because it kind of closed the conversation on all that crap. And great job there. But I think he's an excellent player. I think he was a very big surprise last year. I had my doubts, because I was kind of in that boat of, was he the one that wanted to play defensive end? And it's like, all right, what's more important, the play or social media? And I thought he did a great job this past year. He worked his butt off. He played really well, had the injury late, but he was the best interior pass rusher that they had. And he still looks like a player that can still give you a lot of snaps. I mean, he's getting to be older now. He's not a young man anymore, but he doesn't play like he's an old man. He's still got a young kind of a gallop to his step.
Speaking of defensive tackle, I'll tackle this one for Tom so he doesn't have to worry about the pronunciation. The Jaguars traded Mason Smith for Rook Ororo. Your thoughts on Ororo and the departing Mason Smith?
I was so fired up when they made that trade. I was like, God, so row.
Well, Tommy says roar, a roar. So
a row. I thought it was good because you guys, look, I'm a big Mason Smith the person fan, and even though he didn't develop yet, and he was picked because he kind of had a lot of traits. The production wasn't necessarily there when he was at LSU, but I love the guy. Worked his butt off, practiced hard, got hurt last year, which was no fault of his own, and then wasn't able to kind of gain his footing. And so this kind of represents a new start for both players because both players were viewed as a disappointment in the places that they were drafted. So what is a row going to bring? I don't know. I just know that he was kind of viewed as the Mason Smith in Atlanta, and we'll see what happens. But a fresh start, a new start for him, and we'll see where it goes.
Jeff, when you talk about the competitions, we've breezed through some of them, but which one is most intriguing for you as we're heading into the camps? That we're going to talk about guard, you'll talk about linebacker, safety, maybe that backup behind Trayvon and Josh Hines-Allen. But is there one that sticks out to you that you're excited about?
Well, I think you got to get the secondary kind of squared away and really define it. Much like with Eric Armstead last year, you defined his role, okay, DT. And I think that something similar kind of needs to happen also with Travis Hunter, okay? Define it. What's it going to be? What's it going to look like? Because if it's not defined, and I'm not saying you have to make a public announcement about it, but at least have it defined so that everybody in the room knows where it's going to be, so that it's not a point of interest or a point of conversation. The reality is, Tom, I mean, if we had a player in the locker room back in the day and there was this mystery behind what's his role going to be, we talk about it all the time, because everybody would have an opinion. I mean, it's the locker room's no different than the water cooler in a lot of instances. Right. And so I think defining that role for Travis this year, I think is going to be important. So, when you talk about anticipating things to watch, I don't necessarily want to say position battle because, I think things will play out. And this isn't necessarily a position battle, but I think it's a position defining, isn't it? I mean, so to me, that's the most interesting thing.
Lugs, how about safety, man? Antonio Johnson really came on last year. I love his game. Ransaw, we don't know. We're hoping for the best. Of course, Eric Murray is back. How do you think? And then they drafted a kid, the Husky kid, who seems to be a ball hawk type safety. How do you think the safety position is going to pan out? And do you think we'll see more 3 safety package? Like that seems to be some of the rage lately in the league.
Well, to answer the latter question, I think, yes, we're going to see more safeties on the field at the same time. And there's a couple reasons for that. The whole new age approach about having multiple tight ends on the field that Sean McVay's kind of come up with. Liam kind of did the same thing last year. It's one of the reasons why they went out in free agency last year and signed so many guys at the tight end position. And they wanted to do that last year, but they had multiple injuries across the tight end position that prevented them from getting that 3 tight end package on the field at different times of the season with different injuries. But I think that there's going to be a blend of guys, and the great thing is that I think there's some guys that give you some flexibility. Antonio Johnson gives you great flexibility because he can play safety. He can kick down to that the big nickel kind of position. Eric Murray is dependable, reliable, smart. He's seen everything. Really like that. Caleb Ransaw is like the Christmas present that you weren't allowed to open up last year, and so I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to bring to the table this year. With the highly touted, last year he was a pretty high draft pick, and there was a lot of kind of excitement about him, and ended up getting hurt. So I want to see what he can do. Jalen Husky's got some really nice ball skills, the draft pick out of Maryland. So, again, we're talking about competition, right?
Yep.
And so that competition means that your roster is kind of in that right spot where it needs to be to make teams better. That's the one thing that makes teams better across the board is competition everywhere.
Absolutely. All right. One segment to go with Jeff here. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday. You can find them online at WeKeepJacksRollin.com. If you need an oil change, they will take care of that. If you need tires, plus just go see my friends at Big Chief Tire if you have any questions about your vehicle as well. It's 1010XL 92.5 FM.
1010XL takes you behind the microphone.
You run your mouth nonstop since the minute we met. I don't know what's going on. No, shut up.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Was that a fart?
The Drill.
It stinks.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Shut up.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
Big Chief Tire Monday on Helmets and Heels.
I'm Frank Franzi, and I can tell you, in this financial climate, or really any, it's never been more important to make your money work for you, which is why I'll recommend Mike McGuire and the Wealth Management Team at South State Bank. Financial planning is based on trust, because it's so important. You can trust the South State team. They offer the best combination of sophisticated wealth management strategies with a truly personal approach. That will help you meet your financial goals. Stop by your local South State branch and ask them to connect you with Mike McGuire and the Wealth Management Team. You'll be glad you did. South State Bank, member FDIC.
If fishing is in your DNA, hop in the boat with Captain Kevin. It's the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show, brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Royal Pest Services.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Not everyone is built for a cubicle. At Local 234, apprentices get paid to learn hands-on skills like plumbing, pipe fitting, HVAC, the stuff Jacksonville runs on. No endless lectures, no massive student debt, just hands-on training, real jobs, and real pay. This is how you level up, by doing work that actually matters. Check them out at UA234.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Local 234. Make the right connection.
For 25 years, Instant Keys has been the go-to locksmith service for car keys, transponders, and even high-tech smart locks. For honest, professional locksmith service,
Instant Keys comes to you.
Attention poker players, the tables are heating up at all Best Bet locations. Don't miss a minute of the action with $800 high hands every Friday and Saturday, $555 Cinco de Mayo high hands every 20 minutes, and the Memorial Day $30,000 cash giveaway. And don't forget to earn those entries to win a side-by-side all-terrain vehicle starting May 1st in Best Bet St. Augustine. Get to your location of choice, Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine, and take home your winnings. For all the details, visit bestbetjacks.com.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler, and this Mother's Day, we'd like to help you celebrate Mom with up to 40% off our entire inventory. GIA-certified natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds, beautiful colored gemstones, designer brands, custom jewelry design, and Monahan Jewelers offers interest-free financing on any purchase, so get something special with a payment you can afford. Come celebrate Mom with fine jewelry at up to 40% off at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Hey, it's Greg. When you work at this radio station, you tend to hear the Awaken 180 stories all the time from Hacker, Matt, Amber, and tons of our listeners. Well, for years, I've been saying I need to do it, but I can do it on my own. Or let me just get through the season, I'll do it next month. And you know what? That hasn't been working. So when they said lose 40 by the 4th, something clicked. So I did it. And last week, I started the Awaken 180 Lose 40 by the 4th plan. And I'm telling you, it's even easier than I expected. I've got my coach, Mandy, so I'm not guessing anymore. And they lay everything out in a concrete plan guiding my steps. And for me, this is bigger than just losing weight. I want to move better, feel better. I want to walk parks and music festivals without feeling it the next day. Just live better. So right now, this is the window. Lose 40 by the 4th, but you've got to start now to get there. I've stopped making excuses, and I'm going to be accountable for the next 2 months by telling you how it goes. So let's do it together. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, letting you know that Hardball now offers web stores, so your employees can order their own branded gear, and you have more time for Wordle. Check it out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Comic Minutes Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Jeff Logman, kind enough to hang out with us for so long today. We will be releasing him of his helmets and heels duties here shortly. But Jeff, I want to recap your off season. What's either the biggest fish or best fish that you caught, or something that you shot?
Well, we just finished up turkey season. Turkey season was really good.
Okay.
I'm always a fan of that. I wish I could turkey hunt every morning. But fishing wise, just been okay. I haven't fished a ton yet. Been working at the farm a little bit too much, but fishing season is about to get cranked up here. I know this week coming up, I'm going to be fishing a couple days. My son's finally getting a break from med school, and so the competition will be on.
Heck yeah. And snapper season extended for this year.
Well, for many years, since 2010, we've had a closure on red snapper, which was just ridiculous because it was based on a bunch of misinformation and not accurate scientific studies. And they're opening it back up again for a significant amount of time. That's going to be the spring here coming up soon. And then also 9 days, I believe, in the fall. So, and it's across the southeastern states. So everybody's going to be able to go offshore and catch some red snapper again. So that's good.
Yeah, it's been 2 days, which just made it insane as far as the boat ramps and everything like that. But yeah,
It made it unsafe, which was just not good, because everybody's going, because even if the weather is iffy,
right,
and everybody's scrambling to go, and hey, look, let's go, let's fire that old boat up, let's go catch a snapper because it's open. And then you're going out there and it's not necessarily a boat that's been run a lot or something of that nature. So yeah, just it wasn't very safe.
Jeff, have you talked to Travis Hunter about the fishing and hunting?
I have not. He's a bass fisherman though. I mean, he needs to get dialed in with Jacksonville, man. I mean, this has got some of the best brackish, salt, and freshwater fishing that there is on the planet. So when I got here back in '95, I remember kind of thinking the same thing. Yeah, where can I go get some bass? And I didn't know that red bass was even better than catching a largemouth bass, which was a redfish. And took me a little bit of time to learn, and I think it'll take him a little bit of time to learn, but he'll catch on. I mean, this is a phenomenal place to live if you like to fish, and I know he likes to fish, and so maybe at some point we'll be able to connect.
Just show him that video of you out on the kayak with those two massive gators mating in the intercoastal lines. Just show him that
was crazy.
I know
that was crazy.
I was scared watching it on the video. Like, oh my god!
Yeah,
they were
massive.
That's
the crazy thing is that that particular place. I was told by a guy that has been fishing that area for a long time, and he told me, he said, "Look, if you can find the alligators, you're going to find the fish." And I'm like, well, I don't know if I want to find a fish if I got to find the alligators first, right? And it turned out, and I kind of thought, well, maybe he was just joking a little bit. It turned out to be so true at this one spot because look, the gators live there 24/7, and they've got an appetite that needs to be satisfied. And I started listening to that exact recommendation, and I started catching a bunch of fish in this particular place. So yeah, it's one of the risks you take.
Just stay in the kayak.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Logs year 2 under Liam Cohen. He even mentioned it can't be a one-hit wonder. We all know what that's like. Obviously, we've seen that in the past. How do they make sure that doesn't happen? And let's start with the QB. What are you expecting out of Trevor in 2026?
Well, a step up. I mean, I think a big step up again with Trevor to own the offense and to dial the offense in even more so than what they were able to do last year. I think when you've got a quarterback who doesn't have a lot of experience in the offense, I think the quarterback is a little bit hesitant sometimes to maybe give a lot of input because look, he's just trying to learn the offense. I mean, there's times where he says, hey, look, I don't like this or I don't like that. But I think to really own the offense, you got to be pretty vocal about it. And I think he'll be able to do that this year with Liam. And I think Liam will be comfortable with him doing that as well. But yeah, I want to see him pick up where he left off. I mean, that was phenomenal what he was able to do in the second half of last year. And he was arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the league down the stretch, probably one of the best 4 or 5 quarterbacks down the stretch of the season. So you hope that he picks up right there where he left off. And, obviously keeping him upright and healthy is going to have a lot to do with that. So you got to get everybody around him playing at a higher level. And look, you're right. And that this football team has had moments, 2017, okay, I had a big year. Well, then you weren't able to sustain it. You want the organization to find a way to be a sustained winner, like the Pittsburgh Steelers have been able to do, the Baltimore Ravens, the teams that have had the LA Rams, the teams that have had sustained success, that's the goal. And so I love what Liam has done so far from a leadership standpoint in front of his football team about challenging them to do more this year. And if there was ever a leader that could do it, man, I believe in Liam Cohen. I'm excited about him. I'm excited about the leadership as a whole with Tony and James and Liam. I think we got the right setup. I think we got the right mixture, and I'm excited to see what's next.
Jeff, final question. Who do you think will lead the team in receptions this season?
That's a great question. And it might be Parker Washington, but that's a tough one to pick, right? I mean, is it going to be Brian, who was such a threat a couple years ago? Is it going to be Jacoby, or is it going to be Parker? Could it be Travis if he ends up playing on offense? Bretton Strange? There's so many people that we could talk about there with that question, which is exciting. It means that there's a lot of weapons there, and so you like that. But it would be hard not to pick Parker with the way that he finished last year and the confidence that he gained and the confidence that he gained and played with last year. If he can carry that into this year with a hunger, the same hunger that he had last year, it would be hard not to pick Parker Washington.
I like it. All right. Well, we so appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. That was
Thanks,
great.
Logs. That was great, man.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Taylor, Lauren, Tommy. Great talking to you guys. Talk to y'all later.
All right, man.
All right.
Beautiful.
There goes Jeff Logan.
See you out at camp.
That's right.
At some point.
Rookie mini camp this
Mini camp,
weekend.
yeah.
And then training camp will be here before we know it. That's for sure. That's what always happens. We lament the end of the season unless your team wins a Super Bowl, which obviously ours did not. You lament the end of the season, and then we talk about, oh, this team has to get better, and we dig into why they lost or how the season finished if you didn't make it to the postseason, and then we look up, it's March Madness. We look up again. We're talking about rookie mini camp and then OTAs and then training camp.
Yeah, and this is that when we talk about this time of year and you start looking at, as we were just talking to Jeff, a lot of things were going through my head about the AFC in general, overall, and the big moves that happened everywhere. And did the Jags do enough is going to be a big storyline going into this camp, because when you talk about the Bills getting DJ Moore, and then you talk about the Broncos getting Waddle, and you talk about Chiefs getting a running back, the Ravens shoring up their offensive line. And so, like, everybody, you felt like, yes, we'll see. I guess there's some people who probably say, yeah, this roster did improve because you're getting Caleb Bransaw and because they do feel like with these tight ends you can do more offensively. And so some people may think that, but everybody in the AFC is probably feeling, at least those top teams that we talk about are all feeling they got better. So this is that conversation I think that's going to be in this offseason. Did the Jags do enough to compete with those teams? Because that was a big thing last year. They kind of had, all of them got injured, and there was this path that felt kind of easy for the Jags, and I don't think that's replicating this year.
Yeah, well, they're sticking to the plan, you know, of building in the draft and developing. They had plenty of opportunities to go and reshape that D-line. They could have if they wanted to. They chose not to.
Yep.
And then we find out, you know, if that was the right path to go. Interesting that Logs thinks that third rusher's on the team. I hope so. That'd be great. I mean, that we could really, you know, count on somebody. I do think if Gardeck's out there, you slide Trayvon down and let Gardeck work that outside. But who's going to be that number 3? You know, is it the young kid out of Duke? Is it Durfee out of Washington? Is it the young guys that are on the team? I think, and that's the thing. We've talked about this in the all-off season about what ifs and ifs and it. But here's the deal. Like, you take like Wyatt, Milam, and Ransaw. If they turn out to be good players, they're like rookies. I mean, they're like brand new rookies almost. So, you know, a lot riding on these picks, and if they can not only develop but stay healthy and develop. Injury was a big part of last year, even with 13 wins. Think about that. Major players got hurt last year, and a lot of times when that happens, you don't win a lot because those guys are so significant. To hear what Trayvon Walker went through. I want that guy in an alley, man. If I ever needed help, I'm calling him. I mean, jeez, he's unbelievable. But, to tough it out and play, that's what you want. That's the kind of player you want.
And he got rewarded.
And it hurts. Listen, you have to, that whole, pain's leaving the body or whatever crap that is. You do have to play with pain. I mean, you just do. And your team's counting on you. And as long as you can go without re-hurting or hurting it even worse or that kind of thing, you got to go. Your team is counting on you to be there, even if you're limited. Even if you're limited, because they still need your presence to be there.
Absolutely. All right. The golden moment awaits on the other side. You are listening to Hummus and Heels, 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The station that's not afraid to trade a little paint.
A little bumper tag there. Oh, no!
This Sunday at Watkins Glen.
They make contact!
NASCAR is revved up by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 and 1010XL.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast Orthopedic Specialists for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, Tom McManus here. Let me tell you about the Armstrong Fence Company, locally owned and operated right here on the First Coast for nearly 20 years. Known for reliability, quality craftsmanship, and professional service, Armstrong Fence handles it all. From big projects like stadiums and schools to your very own backyard. They build a wicked strong fence, and they do it every single time the right way. When you need a fence, look at and trust Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, that's right. We did the fence.
It's a Helmets and Heels Big Chief Tire Monday.
Ackerman Urology has 4 locations for advanced urological care to improve men's health and vitality. Don't suffer the season with prostate, bladder, or kidney issues. Schedule a checkup with AckermanUrology.com.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Today's vehicles are smarter than ever, but that also means they need more precision than ever. Features like lane assist, collision warning, and adaptive cruise control all rely on cameras, sensors, part of what's called ADAS. And if those systems are even slightly off, they might not work correctly. That's why, after certain repairs, your vehicle will need ADAS calibration. At G&H Tires and Service, they have the ADAS system, so your vehicle's safety features work the way they're supposed to. Don't guess with your safety. G&H Tires and Service. Precision that protects.
Catch Gators baseball all season long on 1010XL. Pitched by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah, Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville, and Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation? From a real person? Good luck. That is what's so nice about Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Unlike publicly traded conglomerates with headquarters in faraway cities, Mike Merritt's Heating and Air remains family-owned and operated by Mike, your neighbor. Mike Merritt has delivered hometown service, integrity, and pricing for generations. The big guys incentivize their techs to sell you new equipment. Mike's team emphasizes repair first. We only sell you equipment if your current equipment is worn out and beyond repair. And let's be honest about price. Small operations without much overhead can sometimes lowball your job, but you can't trust just anyone with a truck. They may be here today and gone tomorrow. Mike Merritt has been keeping North Florida cool for more than 3 decades. That's experience and dedication you can count on. Call today or see us on the web
Florida license number CAC 050384.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Golden moment. Thank you to Jeff Loggeman for hopping on with us today. That was a lot of fun. It's always good talking to Logs, and I know last week, Tommy, you said he was going to hop on last week, but wanted to go over some of this film a little bit more of these drafted guys. So it's going to be an interesting offseason already, just because it does feel like there's some battles we've talked about. We're talking about guard, obviously linebacker, safety. There's some of those that we're going to be talking about, what that looks like, and even running back, I guess. That's going to be one of the bigger things to look at, because we just heard them say that was the stink and they want to fix that. And then the main addition was more so blocking help over running backs. And so there's going to be a lot of fun things to look forward to camp. And then in addition, getting Caleb Ransaw, Jeff Loggeman spoke about that, not having this present that you didn't get to open last year and really see the full capability of, and what that looks like in the secondary with and with Travis Hunter coming back healthy too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I found it interesting that the O-line may be the same. Mm-hmm. And, Logs has been on the whole Anton at left tackle for a while. Mm-hmm. I know other people have too. You got to wonder if they got to think about it, I would imagine, especially with Cole's injury, just to see where he's at. I mean, they're going to make it a competition. I think setting pen on that O-line is Ezra for sure and Anton, and then we'll see about Cole. Like, if Cole's healthy, I would put Cole in there.
I think Haynes,
but I think the other
center too.
I think he's definitely hard penciled in. You know what I mean? Like but are they gonna see if anybody else could play that position a little bit more? I don't know. Is it Monheim? Is it a guard? If you're McCary and you can play center, wouldn't you go to the coach and be like, look, if you're gonna try to replace me at guard, can I have a shot at center? Mm-hmm. I'd like it. Maybe he doesn't, maybe he doesn't. I'm not. Robert Hainsey did a fine job, but the stink just didn't come from one position. Mm-hmm. It didn't come just from right guard. It's, the interior. So, you know what I mean? And not that they were terrible, but that's where the stink is, plus the line. So you would think that might be more open than we maybe think.
Actually think, yeah.
And I don't think there was a competition for center last year. Even though they did draft
No, there
Monheim,
wasn't.
It felt like it was Hainsey all the way.
And you needed him.
I was going to say, and you don't want to necessarily have competition at center for the first year in Liam Cohen's offense. You want to have a center that's going to work with the quarterback every snap if possible for the entire season, obviously throughout training camp as well, because it was such a new offense to Trevor. Right. But at the end of the day, now he has the year under his belt, and competition everywhere. But if you're asking me as we sit here today what it looks like, I think the only position that potentially could change would be right guard. I think it'll still be Cole and Anton either tackle position, Ezra left guard, and Hainsey center. That's what I think, but again,
it could. No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying you're wrong at all. I'm just again, may the best men win. Yeah. That's all we care about, and that's all they care about, right?
100%.
So hopefully that and nothing. Look, Robert Hainsey was fine. I just wonder if they want to get even more physical. I mean, look, Pregnon's a different kind of player. He's a mauler.
Right.
He's a guy that is very athletic, can get out on the screen, but he's known for moving people. I don't know if our right guards are known for I don't think our center's known for moving people. It's more like getting their way violently, than actually taking someone and moving them off the line of scrimmage. But Pregnon is supposed to be that kind of player. Yeah. So maybe they're looking for that.
Jeff said nasty, right? Mm-hmm. Finishes. Yeah. So, we shall see.
That.
All right, Todd, time now for Lauren's Lane.
Now, Lauren's Lane. Opened up by Closets by Design. Imagine your home totally organized.
Per usual, we have a sports potpourri when it comes to Lauren's Lane. We're going to start with men's basketball. Todd Golden is not done. He's added now Domen Petrovic. That's right, Domen Petrovic from Slovenia. He is 6'9". For his club team, he averaged over 16 points, almost 7 rebounds, and a little over 3 assists. So that's exciting stuff. Yes, he played with Urban Klavjar there in Slovenia. And so yet another addition for Todd Golden's front court. Lacrosse. We talked a lot about lacrosse last week. So we have updates for you today. JU Men's Lacrosse won the A-Sun Championship. So shout out to JU Men's Lacrosse. They face Robert Morris on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. up in Pennsylvania. That's the first round of the NCAA tournament. And then JU Women's Lacrosse also won the A-Sun Championship. Nice. And they play at number 8 Colorado on Friday at 6 p.m. That Colorado team unfortunately beat Florida on Saturday for the for the Big 12 championship. So Colorado is now who JU faces. So I think that's probably a little bit of tough sledding. Colorado ranked 8th in the country, but we shall see. And then Florida takes on Denver. That game also in Boulder, Colorado. That one is Friday night at 9 p.m.
Are those best of 3 or are they one and done?
I think it's just one and done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Single elimination.
That's right.
Wow.
The NCAA tournament does not have time
Lay 'em
for
on the
best of
table.
3 when it comes to lacrosse.
Yeah.
More in lacrosse. Flagler women's lacrosse is hosting the first round of the NCAA Division II women's lacrosse tournament. The first game is Thursday, and then Flagler will play the winner of Young Harris and St. Leo University on Saturday at 7 p.m. So that's really cool to have that NCAA tournament game on their campus.
Yeah,
They're in
absolutely.
St. Augustine, and then Flagler men's lacrosse will travel to number 8 Concordia University, Irvine, for the play-in match on Wednesday, May 6th. So this Wednesday at 7 p.m. So there are your lacrosse updates. When it comes to ASUN baseball, UNF is now 26-20 overall, 17-7 in the ASUN. That is good for first in the Graphite division. So they are the only team in the ASUN that has clinched a tournament berth already.
Good for them.
Yeah, so the ASUN UNF beat JU 2 out of 3 games this past weekend, including yesterday's 10-0 run rule in 7 innings. So good day for UNF, bad day for JU. UNF heads to Gainesville tomorrow to face number 21 Florida. That's right, Florida moved up a couple spots. That first pitch is 6:30, and Florida, by the way, did improve this weekend to, I don't have that in front of me. Yes, I do. They improved to 31-17, 13-11 in the SEC after taking 2 out of 3 at Oklahoma. Then ranked 15th, now ranked 24th. Back to JU. JU is now also 26-20, 13-11 in the ASUN. Third in the Graphite division. Top 4 from each division will make that tournament. So JU looking fine right now. JU travels to Tallahassee tomorrow night to take on FSU at 6 p.m. So once again, we have all 4 of the teams
Playing
we
each
discussed
other.
play each other. FSU, meanwhile,
Dolphins.
yes, that's right. 14th in the country, 33-14, 15-9 in the ACC after sweeping Pitt. This is what I did want to mention. By the way, Boston College is now ranked 22nd.
I saw that.
Woo-woo.
Yep.
Yeah, Georgia ranked 5th. But the cool part about one of the games this weekend for Florida is Caden McDonald, who had 2 home runs, 2 doubles. He went 4 of 5 at the plate, and he pitched 3 scoreless innings in relief.
Wow.
So another Shohei Ohtani in the baseball world at
Love it.
Florida. It was Jack Caglione, although he was a starting pitcher.
And he got drafted by the Texans, Caden McDonald.
Yeah, yes, that's right.
That's right.
A different spelling of Caden McDonald.
Big week for him.
And slightly different, the way those two people are built. But yeah, this Caden McDonald, really cool to have player step up to for Florida to be able to beat Oklahoma and to be able to play both ways. I think that's awesome. And then finally, softball, JU won 2 out of 3 at home against UNF. So JU won the River City Rumble at JU.
Right.
The ASUN softball championship is this week at UNF. UNF plays Eastern Kentucky tomorrow at 5 p.m., while JU awaits the winner of Florida Gulf Coast and Austin P on Wednesday at 2:30. We have so many cool sporting events come to Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
If you blink, I feel like you'll miss it.
Yeah, absolutely. And our local schools are doing great.
Yeah.
All types of sports. It's awesome to see men's, women's.
Yeah, this is,
So
I
cool.
always joke when I worked at UNF, and I worked there a little over a year. So I got through fall sports, winter sports, spring sports. Spring sports for the people who actually work the events, it's chaotic.
Yeah.
Like
There's so many happening at
there's
once.
so many going on. Yes, all at once. And you just feel like you can't catch your breath. There's always another event, but they do such a great job.
Oh,
And
yeah.
So yeah, get out to UNF for the ASUN softball championship.
That's
this
awesome.
week.
Very nice.
Absolutely.
Those girls whip that thing, man. It's unbelievable how they pitch.
Yeah.
The underhand and how
Yeah.
they just sling it. I would, no, I don't want to put myself up against it, but that would be very daunting. You know
To
what
try
I mean?
and hit.
I mean, pitching's like you can never. I mean, come on, 100 mile an hour. No, I would never even stand there. I'd be scared to death to get hit by that dang thing. Even 90, like a regular baseball. But I'd be scared against these women with that softball too. That thing's
course.
coming at 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's big. Probably stings a lot. It's in the right
The
spot.
cool part, though, is because of the underhand motion, they can pitch every single game as long as they stay healthy. But it's not like the men, obviously, who have to
Not
take
torquing it.
Yeah.
days off in
They
between.
don't have to torque
More
it as much.
unnatural
It's-
throw.
Yeah, it's a natural throwing motion. So
They spin it too, though, like curves and all that kind of stuff. They must, I would imagine.
There's
That's
some
a-
movement at times.
Yeah.
Isn't that what with the men's baseball? Because they're always cranking it down with the curve or the slide or whatever, right? Or no? Isn't that why they have all those problems?
I mean,
that
there's because their velocity
Yeah.
is not natural.
When they're whipping them.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
over 90 miles per hour. Nowadays, if you watch a major league pitcher, even the ones that come in relief, or even if it's an opener day where they end up using multiple pitchers.
So underhand's more natural?
95.
Yeah.
Underhand's far more natural for your shoulder and your elbows. Yeah.
What about
Mainly
free
elbows.
throws? Underhand?
Free throws?
You can
Sure.
granny shot it.
Free throws,
Is that more
You're
natural?
not exactly throwing it 90 miles per hour.
I'm
so
just saying,
it's
like, is
fun.
that motion more natural than the other?
If you underhand
You're
it,
not,
you're saying
you're not hurting
maybe.
your elbow when it comes to free throws.
Yeah.
We don't
I know-
see Tommy John for
I know,
basketball players.
like Daniel Murphy's talked about it a lot, and he thinks it's a combination of a lot of things. He's like, velocity is a part of it, but he says that these kids have to do such unnatural throwing motion for so long that it's just taxing on their arm.
They start
Well, the curve,
too
you got to
young.
yank
Because
that
they're like,
thing
yeah, they're
down.
like,
I
hey,
mean,
do
big
this
time.
pitch, and you have to replicate how this person moves their arm. So instead of just being like, throw the ball and letting the arm just naturally do it, they replicate how other people throw, and because of that, it's not a natural throwing motion.
And they play year round now. That didn't used to happen, things like that. So,
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have Franken for crosstalk so we can ask
There
him
we go.
about that. All right, more to do on the other side, including the pest of the day. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday. You can find them online at WeKeepJacksRollin.com. It's 10 to XL 92.5 FM.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Frank Frangie here. I've been telling you about Stanley Pools for years. But you know my favorite thing about this family-owned company? They take such good care of my pool. All I have to do is relax and enjoy it. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and their weekly maintenance makes owning a pool effortless. You can trust Stanley Pools to build your pool or upgrade it. They've done both for me. Call 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
Helmets and Heels.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday. The local Jacksonville shop for fair prices and service you can trust.
I'm local attorney Rick Alexander. In my 30 years practicing law, I've learned you never want to choose money over health. It's always a bad deal. Unfortunately, when someone screws up and you get hurt, that choice is gone. Your only choice is whether you face the future with a lawyer or without one. If you're hurt because somebody screwed up, call me at the practice. The Alexander Law Practice, 904-400-6600 or alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
Hey, Jacksonville, listen up. Termite swarms are active right now, and once they get inside, damage can happen fast. Termites don't knock. They silently attack the structure of your home, leaving behind costly repairs and long-term headaches. Lauren Brooks here. Protect what you've worked hard for with the proven protection homeowners trust. Terminix it with advanced termite treatment and prevention solutions. Visit Terminix.com to schedule your free termite inspection today.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Hi, I'm Blake Bortles. People know I've always said if I wasn't playing football, I'd probably be on a construction site. So Next Gen Roofing finally let me live the dream.
Blake, why are you wearing a red practice jersey?
Always worn it for safety.
Right. Well, around here, the red jersey means you're the new guy, so you're in charge of garbage cleanup.
Perfect. I love garbage time. Always excelled in it.
It's not exactly what I meant.
Good thing Next Gen Roofing has real pros handling everything from family homes to large commercial buildings. Next Gen, teamed up with you. You know Zero Res. Hey, Hicken here. The Zero Residue carpet cleaner that leaves your carpets truly clean with no dirt-attracting soaps or harsh chemicals. Don't risk it with the other guys. And skip the DIY disasters that leave your carpets soaked for days. You can do more harm than good. Keep that mud outside where it belongs, not trapped in your carpets. This month, get 25% off all services. Hardwood, tile, LVP, carpets, air ducts, and more. Call 904-287-5727 or visit ZeroResJacksonville.com.
Tom. Mention me or ask for the 1010XL special.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. If you've ever wondered why some jewelry stores and department stores always have a sale going at 50 to 75% off, there's a good reason. Because most of the time, they're not real sales. The prices are marked up so they can sell the piece at a big discount and still make the profit they need. If you wanted to find a realistic sales event, the store wouldn't run a year-round sale, and the discounts would be a little more realistic. For example, Underwoods puts all of our diamond solitaire necklaces and ear studs on sale in May at 15% below the prices we sell at the rest of the year. So there's a genuine savings to the customer. We also take trade-ins. So it's the ideal time to buy for someone looking to grow their pendant or ear studs up to a larger size. Now at Underwoods, we don't run a lot of sales, but when we do, they're real and a good time to buy. So come see us at Underwoods, San Marco, Avondale, or the shops of Ponte Vedra.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
And now for the pest of the day is always brought to you by our friends at Terminix. You can find them online at Terminix.com. That's TERMINIX.com. And this one's an easy one to me, y'all. It's Malik Willis's first pitch that he threw ahead of the Marlins.
Hopefully his first pass was better.
I mean, I just can't believe that you can be a quarterback and throw a first pitch that goes 15 feet away from the catcher, not above his head, like Mahomes's was at least above his head. Malik Willis's was far out to the left. So
he's nervous.
Sure, yeah, absolutely nervous.
That ball's really tiny in somebody's hands, so it's hard to control, man.
Yeah, I think
If
you
it's
should
dainty,
practice
you
if you're
can
going to
whip it.
accept the first pitch. But that is the pest of the day, brought to you by our friends at Terminix. Again, they do a great job taking care of everything at our house, ViStar Ballpark, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, and all of your favorite event venues around town. Since we're talking hardball, let's welcome in Frank.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Frank, Malik said he slipped. Do you buy that?
I don't. Last year, so we have the CCBL, which is a Coastal College League that plays out at our park, the Fort Family Park, the Reagan Baseball Complex, and they have an all-star game near the 4th of July. And it's all the parents and all the people. There are a lot of them from here and all the families, and it's all the teams because it's an all-star team. So our park is packed. It's as packed as it's ever been. And I was throwing out the first pitch.
Oh, no.
And because Tom, I'm the smartest guy in the room. Okay, I've thrown out 50 first pitches. Okay, we've all thrown out a bunch of first pitches, but haven't thrown one out in about 15 years. Yeah, so you want to warm up? I don't need to warm up. It's one pitch. Okay, it's one pitch,
Throw
right?
the ball.
I mean, it's 60 feet. I grew up pitching. I got out there, and the minute I got, I said, man, that looks long. Okay, you know, if you haven't done it in 15 years, that's 60 feet, 6 inches, looks like about 300 feet.
Yeah, right.
I bounced it, okay? I bounced it right before the batter's box, and they booed me. Can you boo the guy? You can't boo the guy, can you? No, they booed me, so I can relate to what he went through.
He did play baseball in high school, but I'm guessing not a pitcher.
Yeah,
I'm guessing not a pitcher.
It was wild. We were talking about how softball pitchers can throw every day because they throw underhanded and obviously not going to have the injuries like we see in baseball. Your thoughts on kids playing year round? And
you know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Lauren knows the answer to that. I hate it. I think every pitcher now has Tommy John. All anybody cares about is velo now. And I don't think kids should play year round. I think it's just, you know what you do in the fall? You should play football. Yep. You know what you do in the winter? You should play basketball.
That's right.
And then, that's what you grew up doing.
That's how we did
what
it.
I grew up doing. You know, we never touched a baseball until February, when in the middle of basketball season.
That's right.
When the high school coach said, "Hey, we're practicing in a month." You know, so no, Lauren knows. He's heard me whine about this 1,000 times. I hate it. I hate it. I really do hate it.
And the other sports give you so much. Like baseball gives you something, football, basketball, soccer.
And I think you're a better baseball player if you've played football and you've played basketball.
Or other sports.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be
right.
this, but yeah.
But the beauty, I can tell you this, as a coach for American Legion for 17 years, as a coach, the best baseball players ever to coach were football players. Because A, they understood the weight room. B, you could coach them a little harder. You know, so I think that I hate all this stuff. But
I like those soccer guys. You know what I mean? Can't coach them very
those
hard.
soccer
Those
guys.
soccer guys.
Back off over there.
But I hate to But how's everybody doing? You guys good?
Good. Did you watch the Derby?
I did not watch even one. But listen, if you're gonna watch, you got to get in there now. You can't join it late. Okay?
Yeah,
You'll
miss it very quickly.
You can't join it at halftime. It was rainy, so my buddies and I waited till late just to play 9 holes of golf. And they were all going to watch the Derby. They're having. Did you go to a Derby party? Don't you do it?
We didn't have a party. We just watched it home.
Okay, my wife goes, I can't go to a Derby party because I'm not wearing a hat. I said, we got to wear a hat. I said, I'm not going. So I did not watch the Derby.
Okay. Were you watching the Cubs win their 9th straight home game instead?
The Cubs are like really good. You would never know.
The whole division.
You would never know that we beat that ass 2 out of 3 times.
Ever since then, we've been on it.
And we've been lousy ever since.
Lost 3 games since then.
Yeah, listen, she wears me out all the time. Okay? Don't feel bad for her, okay? See, he felt bad.
Secret
I've never heard you say that before.
She trashes me, okay? So, but today we'll talk about minicamp coming up. I think rookie minicamp. I'm very excited about that. Hacker and I are going to be in here. Hacker's going to talk about the draft a little bit. Hacker had a meltdown over the Orlando Magic.
He sure did.
So I'm looking very forward to sharing that with the listeners. So all coming up in just a bit.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Frank. Yeah, thanks again to Jeff Logman for hanging out with us today for an hour and a half.
Log.
He's the best. Yep. And look, rookie minicamp is going to be maybe not nearly as exciting as training camp. It's not like there's going to be pads on and they're going to be hitting one another. But I do want to, assess some of these guys up close and personal versus just, reading about them.
Mm-hmm.
Like
size and speed for me.
Absolutely.
I want to see how they look. I want to see how they move.
We've got a 6'7" Tanner Koziel. I want to see what he looks like. Obviously, Nate Boerkircher, those 2 tight ends.
I want to see them all.
Interested in the receivers.
Yeah.
I know they're not the fastest of the bunch, but interested. And then Wesley Williams, the speed that he's got.
Durfee. I want to see
Zach
him.
Durfee for sure. Yeah, and then of course Pregnon, Regis, it's funny. Some of them, because they're mid-20s, they don't feel like rookies. Like they're going to come in here with families already, millions already. Yeah. It's interesting.
Millions and more millions.
Exactly.
Swimming in it.
That's right.
All they do is win, win, win. Let's hope they win, win, win on the field.
Please, please, please. All right, that'll do it for us today. For Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, and so, of course, once again, thanks to Jeff Logman. For RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These are our Made for Talking. We will talk to you tomorrow, but don't go anywhere. The Frangie Show with Hacker Nation is next.